Welcome to episode 59 of Pineapples and Thorns. I'm Kat, and with me today is Fado. Hey, Fado.
Hey, good morning, Kat.
How are you today?
I'd be better if you had accepted, my idea to rename this the Thorn Apples and Clones podcast, but here we
We can't
sit.
we can't always get what we want, right?
Right. I never get what I.
And we have some special guests with us today. I'll introduce them in a minute. CFF news, pretty quiet in the CFF this week. We're gearing up for the TWSS event in July, and there's still time to sign up, but we'll discuss that a little later in the show. And we are joined today by two very special guests, Whip, leader of Phoenix Reloaded, and BG, co-leader at Phoenix Reloaded and leader of Buy Forever. Good morning, or sorry, I should say good evening, guys.
Good evening, Kat. / good morning.
To you, Kat, Fado.
Hello.
And good evening, Fado. Good morning, Fado.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about Phoenix Reloaded? Whip, why don't you tell us what town halls are run there, how long has it been part of the CFF, and what inspired you to apply for clan membership with the CFF?
Yeah, cool. So Phoenix Reloaded is a combination of kind of people that are playing pretty casually these days, but with a veteran background. So friends of ours and associates who have at times played in league-oriented clans, looking for a more chilled approach these days, while still taking war seriously and seeing the active strategies and a good little community inside the clan as well. I've been playing personally for around 10 years, approaching, and Phoenix Reloaded joined CFF probably about a year and a bit ago. I can't actually put my finger on it. Again, pretty cash these days, but I'd say, yeah, a little bit over a year now.
Nice. So why did you decide to come to the CFF as a clan?
Okay, so we were looking to sort of just be a bit more of members of the active community, I guess. We've got a lot of friends, yourself included, Kat, involved in CFF. And as soon as we sort of met you guys and um, chatted to people on your Discord server, we sort of figured out pretty quickly that there are a lot of like-minded people in the mix there. Um, People that are fun, casual, but at the same time know exactly what's going on with the game. And even having the podcast associated was kind of exciting just because it's fun to hear what's happening in the community and fun to hear how the CFF as a whole is impacting on it. So, yeah, it was kind of a no-brainer from our point of view. And yeah, as it turns out, we're a good fit and a quick fit, and we've thoroughly enjoyed being part of the family since.
Excellent. So you mentioned that you've been playing about 10 years. Tell us a little bit about yourselves personally, with how you started playing Clash, how long you've been playing, and the clans you played in.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I actually started playing because my now wife, she was my girlfriend at the time, was playing one evening, and I sat on the couch and sort of saw what was going on and thought that looks pretty cool, better than the Minesweeper thing I was playing at the time. So I downloaded the game, and little did I know that a decade later I'd still be playing, and so was she. Pretty cool that she's in the clan with us. Probably not as active as she used to be, certainly not on Discord. But it's good to see her still playing the game, farming up as well.
BG, what about you?
So myself, I started playing because two of my best friends at the time, so they started playing, and then they got me on board. And I thought it was. I remember when I first got it, I was like, "Oh, this game is trash." But I stuck with it, and then I guess like everyone else does, they just get hooked.
Mm-hmm.
Before I know it, I'm finding every single second to do a raid. This is while I'm at work doing tree removals. I'll find a moment and get my raids in so I can make as much money as I can in the game. And since 2013, I was hooked for a long time, and I never thought it would ever eventuate to much. But turns out I met one of my best friends in life, Whippy, through this game, through a very random circumstance, which is super cool. But Yeah, I mean, to this day, we're close friends, and I think that's probably the best thing that's come from it for me personally. But 10 years.
Yeah, BG. But you guys obviously found each other in your small principality of Australia. How much was being Australian part of that? Oh, hey, it's a fellow Australian. He's playing in the same time zone as me, and you guys are a little more isolated, right? There's not as many like English speaking people active at the same time as you guys typically. So, how much of a factor was that?
It was a
Well,
big factor, I think. Um, the way I'll elaborate on BG's funny random story about how we met. Um, Global obviously used to be a thing. I used to spend a lot of time in Global, and for a long time there, I was doing the Unbreakable challenge. So trying to get my defenses up, which meant pretty much like counter pushing, trying to stay as low cups as possible. So I was in bronze quite a bit. I was a semi-max Town Hall 10 at the time. The game only really extended to Town Hall 10. So I was pretty heavy account in Bronze League and trolling people on Global frequently. So I would jump on there and try to join clans, and people would take one look at me, wouldn't even look at my profile, look at my face, and go, nah. Um, Around our sort of active time frame, it was predominantly Indians and Bangladesh in Global chat. And
Yes.
these guys were like, nah, no way, you can't come on board. No. A few minutes would go by, and then all of a sudden they'd look at my base, and it was evident when that switch happened. Anyway, I was on Global Chat one day, trolled a dude. He invited me over to the clan just for a couple of FCs. I thought, YOLO, let's go. Went over. His name was Ajax, the big RIP. Shout out to Ajax.
Shout out to
And
Jax.
in this clan, I met the Bogosco, the guy who pretty quickly became a good friend. Not only that, but a friend that lived within about 10 kilometers of my house, which you're right, is pretty obscure meeting someone playing this game who's actually based in Perth because we are a pretty isolated city. We caught up for burgers one night and we've been mates ever since. And I reckon that's super cool. Probably one of the greatest things that I could ever thank Clash for, in fact.
I agree. Yep,
that's a pretty
I
amazing
agree.
story.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, it's definitely pretty super cool. I mean, I don't really know what life would be like without Whippy these days. Like, he's one of my best friends. So, yeah, hate to get all mushy, but there you go.
Yeah, I love that.
Love, bro.
You both came from sort of a league background, the community leagues. Tell us a little bit about your experiences with the community leagues. Do you feel that they get enough support these days from Supercell and streamers?
Hell no, they do not. It's
Easy answer, right?
Yeah, don't pussyfoot around. Just come on, tell us what you
okay.
really think.
My personal feelings are that ever since esports came along, and I mean not so much SCCWL because it is fake CWL in my humble opinion, but esports has really detracted from what League used to be, and it no longer has the prestige that it did have. I feel like they could have done a lot more, but it now seems to be more focused on Town Hall 15 only,
Mm-hmm.
rather than a mixed breakdown. But I mean, each to their own. I mean, I see positives and negatives to both sides of it, but that's just how it's evolved. But no longer is the prestige of the old style leagues that we used to play.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, because I know I was briefly involved in the community leagues with CWL and NDL on various accounts, and a lot of the pro players today came up through those leagues.
Yes,
and sort of cut their teeth learning the various attacks and what have you there. Is there a way to encourage more of the Clash community at large to participate in these leagues to sort of train up the next groups of so-called pro players? What could Supercell do to support these groups more?
I mean, From my point of view, I don't think that much can be done unless they strongly put out a mixed breakdown sort of style that the community leagues have always done, like MLCW, NDL, and classically CWL. Yeah, maybe with monetary rewards to go with it, other than just clout after winning. It's a tough one because it's like the game competition wise took a massive leap forward and they missed that whole thing. So with ESL, I don't see how it can actually go backwards. But I mean, the community leagues are still around, and obviously I facilitate that in my own way with Buy Forever, and as much as every other clan does as well. But long gone is the prestige.
For sure. So, Whip, tell us, how does leading a more relaxed clan like Phoenix Reloaded differ from running a league-focused clan? Are there less issues, more issues?
I would probably say there are different issues. Leading a more relaxed clan comes with its fair share of cat herding. Pretty much every
it's a
war
challenge. It's a big challenge.
It's a challenge. And yeah, it's a challenge, Kat. You're a challenge.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with obviously playing in a more casual environment is that there's a fine line between casual and comatose, and quite regularly we find like players are sort of playing the game, they're casual, but they are still calling bases, they're hitting bases in a timely manner. And then something comes up on weekend and they're green, they've been spun, they're in war, and all of a sudden there's 2 hours left and we're waiting for the Town Hall 13 to get their attacks done. And in turn, the Town Hall 14s are waiting for them, which means that the Town Hall 15s are waiting for the 14s. And I mean, to say we're casual is true, but we still have structure. And as soon as the bottom rungs of that structure ladder fall apart, the whole ladder crashes down. So, I mean, it's still a frustrating experience, even in a casual environment. But, I mean, it's been a few years that we've been sort of operating as such. And, all we can do really is promote activity, positively encourage repeat offenders to, watch the time, watch their attacks, be responsive on Discord. And I think every day we do get that little bit closer to sort of running the clan with a certain code underlying there where people do check in and they do get their attacks done. I feel like it's probably going to be present forever to some extent, but if we can sort of mitigate the fallout, otherwise, not really. It's not a very stressful experience. We do SCCWL with sign-ups, so if people don't sign up, they're not spun. But yeah, all in all, I'd say that being part of leadership in a more competitive clan environment is by far more demanding than leading a more relaxed casual clan.
BG, how about you? What do you think?
Look, I mean, I'd almost beg to differ on that one because the with a league clan, people are very much knowing what they need to do and what they need to do at the exact same time. They take a little bit more responsibility. So, I mean, I almost feel like it's a little bit harder to run a casual clan because they don't have. I mean, yes, they do have the time constraints that they should appeal to, but they take it a little bit more lapsadaisical, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Whereas, if they...
Yeah, I'd agree.
If they don't, fulfill their task at our league level, I mean, you're benched, and that's you done, for, perhaps the next war or here on out, if you're a repeat offender, so to speak. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Kat's had to chase me down in the raid a couple times in the last week, but so sometimes even I'm guilty of it, but I have the built-in excuse of, I am furiously writing agendas for podcasts or actually doing real life work. But
Furiously.
Sure, for sure.
so you guys can all beat up on me because it's been me this week. That was me twice in the rated. Whoops.
Hey, I'm as guilty of it as anyone is. I mean, being the leader of Buy Forever, I mean, I should be able to, manage my time zone. But I mean, last
You
War
should
at
know
Fleet.
better.
Yes, I should know better.
Well, now that we've got the time zones sorted out as to what is Eastern time, you're good.
Damn.
Yeah, the protractor
Yes.
RPG's doing math.
Yeah, I failed on that one for sure.
Repeatedly.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out why you didn't understand what
The best
9
part was when
p.m.
I tried to
Eastern was.
argue it, and then I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Stop arguing with me.
Yeah, Kat's one of those
Um,
like grubby Americans who thinks like the world revolves around them, and we all understand her time zones.
Oh, yeah. I'm so
Americans,
demanding.
am I right, guys? Americans, huh?
Yeah,
America.
you're right.
what time zone are you? New York.
Isn't everyone?
Uh,
Oh yeah. Okay, so you guys get to celebrate New Year first. Okay. So switching switching up a little bit. Before we jump back into a little bit of Clash content, like what else do you guys do for fun? Obviously, sometimes you feel like, well, it's weird when you think about what are your hobbies outside of Clash when Clash itself could be thought of as a hobby. But when you're talking to leaders and co-leaders of clans, it's like there's a little bit of work involved in this so-called hobby. So what do you guys like to do outside of it?
well, speaking for myself, I'm all about work and family. I run my own business. It's a pretty successful business. I'm constantly out on the road, on the tools, doing work, kind of 50 hours a week. At minimum, last week was a killer. I did like 70 hours. So there's not really a lot of time in between work and family. And obviously, other priorities like Clash, for me to sort of immerse myself too heavily in other hobbies. Summertime, I'm down the beach pretty much every afternoon. Um, a couple of years ago, I quit drinking, which was in its own right pretty much a hobby of mine. So that kind of created a big void, and I've somehow managed to fill it without really taking anything else up in the meantime. Not necessarily a bad thing.
Oh,
But
attaboy.
yeah,
I mean, you probably feel X% more productive each day.
Fado, I feel incredible. And I still remember how I felt prior to getting off the sauce. And I don't know how I lived that way and how I could function. And, I was pretty highly functioning, but I was a pretty heavy drinker as well. And looking at it now, I'm just on a different level, like anything that's going on, I'm across it. And yeah, it's quite liberating. Booze is fun, but booze is bad.
Yeah, Whip. I
Yeah.
mean, your friends and family probably see you in a new light too, and you probably see them seeing you in that light, and that's like a circle of like reinforcement.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, even myself, I see it. He looks amazing. He glows. I mean, it's not just a man crush. It's facts. So,
Oh, it's not just a man crush, BG.
but yeah, no, he's it's a complete transformation.
Attaboy.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
BG, how about you? What do you like to do outside of your Clash time?
Well, I mean, I guess anyone who's on the same Discord servers as me probably knows full well. But for the sake of the podcast, I'm a big man of the seas. I do a lot of scuba, as in scuba diving. I do a lot of free diving, fishing, anything to do with the ocean. That's BG down to a T. So
Very good.
if you care to see the content, jump on Redthorn or jump on PR, and yeah, you can see the channels devoted to me, which is very nice. But yeah, anything ocean wise, I'm all about it.
And it being near the winter solstice for you guys, how are you still able to get out and do that? I'm sure. It's now. I know it's you don't live in Antarctica, but
No, mate, no. It's if I was to be an animal, I'd be a bear. I would be hibernating. So, I mean, you can still do it if you can put up with the cold. But yeah, it's one of those things where so winter time is just for craypots, and if you're going to scuba dive, you better be prepared to like the cold because it's pretty cold in the water. So
all right. Switching back into Clash a little bit. So Whip, I know it's short for Whiplash. How did you come up with that name?
Um, Plato, I barely remember, mate. To be honest with you, I know it certainly incorporates my name, um, but other than that, I think I might have just pulled it out of nowhere. Again, watching my wife play, downloaded the app, thought I'll check this out for a few minutes. Boo, 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 here's a name, off we go. And I really didn't have the foresight to think I was going to be playing it a decade later. With that said, what's in a name? And it's really grown on me over the years.
There's certainly worse names out there.
I mean, I mean, I don't ever think I've ever called you by your first name. I've always referred to you as Whippy. And I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, I know what your name is, but I've always called you Whippy.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. When BG walks into the pub, says, "Yo, Whip," it sort of just resonates a little bit differently. I know exactly who it is before I've turned around. And there's something just endearing about, I guess, appreciating the connection that was founded from Clash initially. Um, it's a nice little throwback. Takes me back a decade ago, maybe not quite, 8 years ago, to the first time I met BG. And yeah, I mean, even when I refer to him to my friends externally, I'll still call him BG, and they know exactly who I'm talking about, which is also pretty cool.
This is true, and even Whip's daughter calls me BG.
Aw, which
I don't think
is
she knows your name.
No, I
yeah.
don't think she does.
And so I'm guessing there's a real name source of your in-game name, BG.
Yeah, so my real name is Ross, but it's going to sound super lame, but back in my 17, 18 years, me and the guys used to sit around. We used to smoke a lot of bongs, right? And we say we would say dumb shit like just weird shit. But so my nickname ended up being Roscoe Bogosco. And that's so unoriginal. And when I first started playing Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, obviously the screen comes. I was like, okay, name your profile, and I was like, I've got nothing. I'm just going to roll with Bogosco, and it's been like that ever since MW2.
Yeah, back in Unreal Tournament, I tried to use the name Olaf, and I just had the worst case of the typos that day. And I was like, "Oh, Fado, that works. Whatever."
That's pretty funny. That explains your nickname. Cool.
Yeah. So, recently in Clash, we got the big main village update coming on the heels of the big builder base update. So, have you guys found yourself ignoring Clan Capital and Builder Base, even Builder Base, so quickly after the Builder Base update for the main village updates, or has that not really cut into that?
Speaking for myself, it hasn't cut into it at all. Um, I like filling out my profile. I like getting achievements. You got to clutch onto the little things, I guess, sometimes. So for for me, doing capital raids, I'm on a constant prowl for loot, trying to get towards that 2 million, whatever it is. Um, and as far as I buy gold pass as well across my accounts every season, and I do it for the kicks, but I also do it for the 1 gem donates when there's nothing to upgrade. So I find myself sort of doing builders base hits purely to get those achievements more so than because I actually have any interest in upgrading it. But again, I've heard it mentioned on another podcast that you guys did recently. Somebody was talking about the benefits of or the perks associated with doing some of the things in Builder's Base and then translating onto your main base, like the multi-mortars, etc. So I guess there's always an agenda behind why I'm doing those hits. I wouldn't say I'm doing Builder's Base hits for the undying passion, but it sort of pushes me in a different direction elsewhere where it does matter to me. So yeah, I mean, I've pretty much constantly done builders hits. Never missed a raid hit yet. Yeah, what about you, BG?
It's a bit different for me, man. Like, you know, I kind of lost a little bit of passion for the game. As I mean, I know all you guys know that. I've always been a league kind of guy and been very passionate about it. But now that I'm, you know, sort of semi-retired from that, I'm finding myself getting a little bit more invested on that side of things again. Clan Capital, I really enjoyed when it first came out, and you know, I still enjoy it. I've just been a bit lapsed on it. Builder Base, no, Builder Base can. I don't know if I can be crass, but I will bite my Aussie tongue and say is not good. But you all know exactly what I want to say.
Even with the update they did to it, you don't like it?
Look, honestly, Kat, I haven't tried it because I've never been a fan of it. I only do it for the I forget the clan challenges.
Oh yeah, the clan games.
Yeah, the clan games. That's the one. Yeah. Just to you know build up the clans points in total. So, but my builder base before that was just baby drags. That was it. So whatever's new, I haven't tried. What about you guys?
Understood. Yeah, I guess I've been slowly grinding at it. It's different. It's still not as fun as the main village, but how much fun is it when you're casual and not in leagues at all, like me, right? And I'm not speaking
Right.
for Cat on that at all, but I kind of feel you on that, BG. Like, it's a little more of a challenge, and with how difficult Town Hall 15 has been for players of my ilk, but I've just decided I'm going to stick it out. Whatever. It's almost the sunk cost fallacy where I've put so many years into it, like I almost can't stop now.
Yeah.
Speaking of years, how long have you guys been playing? We never actually got to that.
So basically, there was a Christmas commercial when the game was released for Android, and so Christmas was it December 13 when it was released for Android? And at the time, I had Android devices, so that's when I started.
I think it was it 2012?
I think 2012 was the iOS release. I think.
Yes.
I could be
Yep,
mistaken.
it was. Yep.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was, I'd sort of heard about Clash of Clans sort of floating out there in the cyberverse, but I didn't know what it was. I was playing Tapped Out, the Simpsons game at the
I was
time.
playing that too.
And Homer was walking around playing Clash of Clowns.
Yes. Yep. I remember
so
that.
I was like, what is this? And then my son decided he wanted to play Clash of Clans at the time and dragged me into it. Then he quit about a week later. And I was stuck playing it.
Still.
Wow, so we're literally all 10 years in.
Yeah.
So, any first impressions on the main village update, BG?
Oh, I mean, I've only literally just caught up, and now I have to catch up all over again. So I'm a little bit disgruntled on that. But I'm just, if I'm honest, I'm not really impressed with Super Hog Rider. And being a Queen Charger, I'm probably still going to stick to my main strats.
Which are?
Queen Charge, Miners and Hogs.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Or Queen Charge, and drags. Anything queen charge is me. So
have you noticed an improvement with the healers? New level on the
look,
healers at 15. So
I can't say I really have, because I'm a massive fan of the recall, a really big fan of the recall spell. Yeah, I'd have to really do some hits without using it to see how effective it is without recalling. So yeah, I'm not too sure about the healers, because I mean I still pretty much do the exact same thing, like Coco Loons, charge a spot, and now I just a recall out and then deploy elsewhere. So I'm never really feeling the full effect of what the healers can actually do. So, and I'm kind of a one-trick pony like that. So,
How about you, Whip? Any first impressions?
I mean, I'm finding the game to be a little bit of a paradox at the moment. It's probably largely me that's causing that. But my choice go-to strategy is Sarch with super minions. And it's a very it's a fickle beast. I can hit him more and triple a 15 and then have a dip and 1 star it. And it happens a lot, and it's really bad for my mojo. But
yeah,
it's probably not the best strategy for me to really be testing the new defenses with nor the troops. I haven't even used any of the new troop levels.
oh, so you haven't tried the
I did
healers?
used to be. I haven't even upgraded the healers yet. I have done Valks. I used to be a huge Valk fan, pretty much from when I started playing the game up until Town Hall 13. I couldn't really get the Valkyries to gel with me at Town Hall 14. I've tried a couple of times at 15, but nothing serious. But I used to really like the Falcon hit, a quick Queen Charge funnel, and then push your Valks through the core. I am excited to give it a go at some point in time. But I haven't really had a lot of time to invest in exploring new strategies or really even noting how effective the defenses are since the update dropped. But this weekend, I do plan on getting a bit of time into it, and I am going to cook a Valk army. Um, I don't know how they're going to go, and they did get a pretty significant HP buff as well, which is exactly what they needed. I think it
Yep,
was like
yep,
a 20% buff or something. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how deep they can push into the core and whether they can withstand like a couple of max scatter shots. And yeah, exciting to see. But I mean, yeah, I probably have to reserve judgment for the time being. But I think they look really pretty. I think the defenses look good. Um, the Teslas and scatters in particular look pretty cool.
Not against me. They look lame.
You don't like
I run
them?
into that base, like, oh, what an ugly base. Oh God. That's interesting you bring up Valk. So, like, I was going to ask about the Apprentice Warden a little bit down, but I'll bring that up in the agenda. Cat, sorry about that. But you imagine, like, they already get the HP buff. Maybe you throw an Apprentice Warden in there. But I always felt like once they introduced scatters into the game, like the Valk was just like became nearly obsolete, right? And it was just more of
sure.
an impact of whatever the damage output of the base is in total, like completely negated the ability for Valks to be viable.
Yeah,
And it
Yeah,
almost like when you hit like Town Hall 13, they needed a buff, an enormous buff, not just oh well, it'll give you extra, 4 DPS or something. No, I mean it's got to be a huge one, and that's really the way to bring that. And I agree with you 100%. It was the most fun troop to play with, outside of like Hogs and Lalo for me, up until
yep.
like a, even
yeah.
Town Hall 11 it was okay, but like by 12 it was kind of like, well, your hit rate's just never going to be what it was. But enough about me. You're not here to listen to me bloviate. We have guests. So um any thoughts on the Apprentice Warden, guys? I mean, obviously you're not, if you haven't even upgraded healers, is the Apprentice Warden something you're thinking a lot about, or you're just kind of waiting and seeing? I'll go with you, BG.
I mean, personally, waiting and seeing and just observing as others post replays or watching war hits. But to be honest, I haven't seen much of it, which I think is kind of natural with any new troop that's introduced into the game, unless it's super OP. Yeah, I mean, we'll just have to practice with it, or give it a whirl a little bit more. So, me being, as I said before, the one trick pony that I am, it's really hard for me to digress from what I know works for me personally. So,
Yeah.
if I can find a way to integrate the new troop with my Queen charge, then I'll give it a I mean, I'll do it. But when it comes to the way I'm playing at the moment, which is mostly just logging on, doing some war hits and legend hits, it's hard to digress from what I've already been. I know what I know that works for me. So
Mm-hmm.
you just got to be more experimental when it comes to these updates when they come out. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know. What about you guys?
I'm wondering, like, if it wasn't 20 troop space, it like imagine pairing, if it was 18 troop space, pairing it with an E Titan in a defensive clan castle. Oh my god, that would be rotten.
Yeah.
But I haven't. I'm still up. I haven't. I think I smashed the book of building on my dark barracks to get it done because I found like the normal armies I was training were taking forever because I was just sitting there waiting for it to upgrade. And that I'm kind of like you, BG. Like when I find the time, I'll come in and do my hits. But lately, time has been scarce, and then when the training time is an
Yep.
eon, I was like, oh, screw it. So I have yet to play with it. We had someone come in and do some FCs that, interestingly for UBG, they paired an apprentice warden with a queen charge. And it gave her a lot more ability to fend off like needing a rage, or even fending off the monolith. Yeah, so that was really interesting to me. And the FCs they were doing were highly successful. So I wonder if that's something that's viable.
See, that instantly appeals to me. So you're talking about, so this person that came in and did the FCs did a queen charge 5 healers and had this apprentice warden along with it.
Yes.
Mm.
It boosts the healers and the queen, what, 30%?
Yeah, 30%.
That turns me on, man. Mm.
So think about it.
Yeah, I am. I certainly am.
How about you, Whip? What do you think about the apprentice warden?
I am embarrassed to say that I have not even seen what the troop looks like.
You
I am
want
in
my
the
opinion?
process of.
It's a big artwork fail for me.
Well, he does look like
Man.
he's wearing one of those road cones on his head. So
Hey, that's what Aussies do.
Sorry, Whip. I went right over you. Okay, so you haven't seen it, but hearing that,
Yeah, hearing that excites me. Yeah, I'm thinking about what application I could find for said troop. But I will just focus on unlocking said troop for the time being.
at 15, you have to upgrade it to level 4. So
Gotcha. I'll be working on it.
anything around like the rework of Super Troops? If you guys listened recently, I said it's
Yes.
great, but not quite enough. Like I still think every single war hit should be like an FC, but I'm not going to get my way, am I? But
Look, I'm right
go
there
ahead.
with you. It really should be.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I feel like even the entire army should be like an FC, like a friendly FC slash friendly war. And I think that's one of the things I enjoy a lot about league play, which is you don't have to wait 45 minutes to build your army. I think this should be like that with your SCCWL and your regular war hits. It really should be.
yeah, because in friendly wars, you can really customize your army
Sure. Yeah.
as you see fit, right? Like,
Yep.
no matter what kind of super troop you want.
Yeah, you don't have to spend the DE on the unlocking of that super troop to use it. Especially because one base could I mean, they always do. They're completely different from the other one. So let's say you unlock super wall breakers and super gobs for your first hit, and it's like, yep, this is perfect. This is exactly what I need to do. And then you look at your next base for your second hit, and you're like, damn, I need some different super troops.
Yep.
Yeah. And Whip, any thoughts?
I 100% agree. I think it's definitely a step in the right direction, having the ability to cancel scheduled troops, but I think I agree with you guys. I think they could probably have gone all the way, as long as you only have 2 of any super troop in your army.
Mhm.
I don't see why they can't just be troops that you can just pick from.
Yeah, I
And
agree
I
with
mean,
that.
the game is based on attacking skill. It's not really about managing what resources you have. The ability of using in your army, in my opinion, if you really wanted to see players performing at their peak, base specific, then having the ability of using all the troops within the confines of 2 at any time per army, I think that would be the go.
And Whip, do you think any of the I know the update's not even a week old, really, right? So do you what's your take on this? Do you think I have a hard time seeing the like the hit rate not going up. I'm not talking about personally because it can only go up for me. But so, but I mean, does it make you feel a little more excited to see maybe new strats or anything, or is it just kind of like, well, we knew something like this was coming, whatever?
I think both ways, really, to be honest. I mean, a shake-up was always going to happen. It always has, and it always will. Just when somebody starts getting comfortable with the meta, somebody being me, it changes completely, which is cool. I've learnt to adjust. But, I mean, it was to be expected, I think, for sure, but it also greatly excites me to see probably just more variation in the hits that we may be seeing in the future. I actually caught a Sir Moose video that popped up as a push notification on my phone today. Called me at the right time. I had 3 minutes to put into it, and he did his usual spam hit against a full max 15 post update full max. And he used ice golems and witches, and I thought that was a pretty cool attack, and it's sort of aligned to the heavily spammy claw charge sort of attacks that I used to do, probably around Town Hall 11, Town Hall 12, again with the Valks as well. So I'm pretty excited actually to cook a few troops and a few troops that aren't super minions, and yeah, just reacquaint myself, I guess, with the ground game.
Yeah, BG. I mean, do you have any? I know you're you're a busy guy outside of Clash, so does any of this make you think, yeah, okay, or is it more of like a, well, okay, so they've done it, but it's still not going to make me get back into league play, for instance?
Yeah, so I mean, that's a good question, man. Like, it probably more makes me want to play on the casual side of things because there's a lot less riding on my success. But yeah, I mean, I'm still. I mean, I've been a league guy forever. I'm always going to be a league guy, so I'll keep going with that one. But as far as the update goes, I actually haven't hit a fully max base like Whip has. Yeah, so I'm not too sure how pummeled my regular strategy, which is like Queen Charge Miners or Queen Charge Miners Hogs goes with this whole with the max scatter shot. So everything I'm still facing is still like a Town Hall 14 scatter shot. So it remains to be seen, man. It really does. So
BG, what is your favorite memory or achievement in your time in Clash?
Okay, that's easy. That is very easy. So where I
Gonna kill
came
me.
from, where I came
Just
from
do it.
was from the Holy Cronut, which is the clan that Whippy brought me into at a very rough time in my life, and we embarked on CWL for our first season, I think that was CWL season 3. We didn't quite get there on that one, but then we did MLCW, and we took that out as grand finalists against Highly Active. So that was when Town Hall 11 was really hard, extremely hard to triple.
Mm-hmm.
So that for me was probably that would be it for me, taking out MLCW.
It really shows you how, like, Kat is super involved and socially in the game and knows so many people. I don't know as many people. I know names, but I don't know backgrounds, and I forget. Oh, these guys were in Holy Cronut. Oh, I know Gum.
Oh, you
And
know Gum. Yes.
Gum is a super guy.
Rob.
He and I get along great because we have the same like old man crotchety sense of humor. So I love Gum to pieces, and it makes sense that you guys were there with him.
Yes, what and
We were right
Whip
there
was
with
there
him.
too, and it was
A
it
good
was a
time.
stress. It was a good time, but it was a stressful time at the same time. We're so heavily invested, and I didn't realize that was going to be our last season at the Holy Corona, but it was, and oh gosh, the voice chat was probably the best part about it for me. The camaraderie, and it was super enjoyable. And Clash for me, like camaraderie wise, has never been the same ever since. I mean, there's been dabbles of it, but nothing will ever take away how special that time was.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I remember those, like the Lost Meta days. I was in one of
Yes.
the AYS clans at the time, and I remember being able to peek in and see, like, God, you guys would have so many people on voice during those
Yeah,
wars.
man.
And I knew, and
Yep.
it wasn't like a time for,
Lit.
it's not time for me to come in and be myself. Like, these guys are serious. It's mid-war. They're doing their thing. So it was interesting being like close enough to touch it, and so happy for all you guys. And I knew so many of them. That like it felt like a success for the entire Lost Meta family. But it was all you guys, and like you said, like just being close enough to touch it, and on the outside looking in and seeing the voice channel being what it was just, that was crazy. Like that's a memory of mine, and I wasn't even in the clan.
Yeah, that's super cool. I should also mention that I messed up just then. Our first season was MLCW, AQL. It was CWL Rising that we
One.
took out against Highly Active.
Oh, good times. Hey, Whip, what's your favorite achievement or moment or memory?
Meeting Bogosco.
I wish I could say that it was the same memory as BG's, but due to other factors, I actually left the Holy Cronut during the finals of that season, and it kills me to this day that I wasn't part of the winning team. But such is life. I still look back on those times with such a warm heart and such a full heart that 50 people in the clan, every one of them online at once, and yeah, I mean, it's the sort of feeling that will be completely irreplaceable by any other facet of the game. But that's not necessarily a bad thing or to say anything negative about the direction that I'm personally moving in with this game. My life and I guess my time restraints these days would prevent me from competing at that sort of level and committing that sort of time anyway.
Mhm.
But that was a very good time. In terms of when I've enjoyed the game, or I guess like my favorite part of the game, it's probably current, which is a funny thing to say because I don't spend anywhere near the time I have done over the years. But the time that I do spend now is just of a much higher quality, and I guess being casual to the point where, wars are fun. I log in and it's not stressful. It's fun. Try our best. Stick to our clan guidelines, and that's kind of the extent of it, you know. And I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I look at it in my current position. Looking back on CWL days is like stressful for me, and I mean, it was stressful then as well. Enormously fun, but as I get older, I've got other things to worry about and other things to stress about, and where I'm at with the game now is kind of my happy place. And yeah, I mean, it's really hard to sort of put your finger on one specific time that was kind of your favorite, because I've got lots for different reasons, like meeting BG and coming over to MOB Raiders, the clan that BG was a co-leader in when I first met him. Like that's kind of an insignificant moment in the game as far as the game goes. But by the same token, what I took from that is just so huge, I actually stuck
It
around in
really
that
is.
clan for quite a while. And, BG wasn't actually the only person who lives in Perth who I've met through that clan either, because BG had a couple of real life friends that were playing. And I'm still in touch with a couple of them from time to time. I actually did a job for one of them a few weeks ago, which was kind of cool, going back almost a decade ago. But yeah, I mean, every war win and every triple is as special as all the ones before it to me. And, the people that I play with now are just as special to me as the people that I've played with during CWL years or MLCW years or, my rookie years. I'm just really happy with where I'm at with the game, and I'm still thoroughly enjoying the game and its evolution as it proceeds. It's
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
if that question came in a two-part response, it would be obviously my first response about taking out CWL Rising Season 5, and also meeting one of the greatest guys, like an amazing friend, through the game. That's probably the most special part to me, because I don't think many people can say that with Clash. I mean, yes, we
No,
all
for
make
sure.
amazing bonds, through this game that we play, this damn mobile game that is somehow got a grip on our lives, which is crazy, right? But I'm lucky enough to be able to hang out with this guy on, I mean, we don't hang out as much as we should, with our lives that we have, work wise. Even though we live 15 minutes down the road, it's just
Life's
still super
hard.
special. Yeah, yeah. And
Amazing.
I mean, I honestly feel blessed.
I love you, BG.
Hey, did you guys on Clan Capital put your little houses next to each other?
Or are they 15 minutes apart?
No, but I didn't know you could do that, but we should do that.
You should. Okay, let's dive a little bit into the events, CFF events, because I do want to talk about that.
Yes.
We had a question from one of our audience members, Trample Damage. He wanted to ask questions about why do we enjoy doing events, what has been your favorite event and why, and let's talk a little bit about the TWSS event since that's coming up.
Okay.
BG, you want to dive into that? Tell us a bit how you came up with that.
Sure. Okay, so it's really hard to come up with something different with Clash. I mean, like, you're kind of very limited to options. I mean, maybe we're not, but I'm not very creative. But when I thought of it, I just thought, well, this is a game that has two sexes in it. Maybe we could make an event based on one sex, and then maybe after this event goes through, we can do it on with the other one. But yeah, I was just racking my brain for something to do and something to put PR at the top of the event capital of the CFF, if you will. I just want to try and keep it as ahead of the game as possible, make things fun, and being a guy that's only ever really known League for the longest time, I really enjoy organising things and providing fun for our people. Even though it can be hard to cat herd, you set these events up and they will come. And when the time happens, it's always fun. It's always a massive hit.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Just like with the the most recent war, the 69 war, and then the Clone War. and then prior to that, the Recall War. Recall was super fun.
Yeah, it was,
And
because nobody had used the recall spell really before that. So
yeah, and so if we can keep doing things that keeps the CFF as like the fun family, maybe it will keep people coming in. I mean, I don't really know how the whole recruiting thing goes, but from my point of view, it's a bit biased because I'm within the family, but it's a fun family. So why not keep it going? Do whatever we can to keep things fun and interesting.
for sure. Whip, what about you? What do you like about events?
I'd agree with BG. That Total Recall War was a heap of fun. And I guess it translates to pretty much any event. That what's cool about an event is when it's themed, it kind of blows strategies out of the water to a point. I get very comfortable using
Yeah,
the
that's
same
true.
hit in every Legends hit I do, every FC I do, every War hit I do. I'm using the same army comp, little tweaks obviously sometimes, but predominantly the same army. And then all of a sudden, you take away one spell because you have to use this spell to abide by the event rules. And all of a sudden, my entire comp doesn't work so well anymore. It's like forcing me to adjust. Um, so I guess like from a personal point of view, I enjoy events because they push me to experiment with new things. And sometimes I found like that has translated to actually like adhering to my daily strategy, which
Mm-hmm.
is pretty cool. Um, as a greater answer to that, I just like how inclusive events are, that we have an awesome family with so many awesome members in it. And yeah, we chat on Discord or we pop in and visit. But running an event like that is just really cool when you get a full mix of, people from
Definitely.
Redthorn and people from NH and all across the CFF family, all in one place. And there's a bit of banter on Discord. And in what world could that be a negative thing? You know, um, I think if that's not the sort of thing that you're into, then you may not want to be part of a family, because that is what it's all about. A sense of community, a sense of involvement, and
Yep.
I actually take a lot away from those event wars because um, watching replays in your own clan all day, you figure out pretty quickly like where your clanmates' strengths lie and what comps they're using. And when you do an event war like that, all of a sudden you've got 10 Town Hall 15s on your team, all hitting with different comps that you haven't even seen before. It's like, whoa, so much to take in.
Yeah, true.
Which is
True.
is why the recaps work so well too. Just such diversity, I guess. But it's the whole point of being part of a bigger family like CFF, that there's something for everybody, and more exposure, I guess, to things that you may not come up against otherwise. So yeah, I mean, events are super fun. I'm a pretty social person in the
Yes.
real world as well, and I really like that about the event wars. Just seeing my friends from all the other clans, talking a bit of stuff, and yeah, it's good
Yeah,
times. It's good times.
yeah, for sure. It's really a great way for people to, you get to know the people in your clan itself fairly well, but then you often, as part of a larger family, you don't get to interact with people that often, and other people might have learned a trick or two on how to do certain things to tweak an army, and getting a chance to do FCs with them definitely expands your view on the game.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, for
I'll
sure.
elaborate a little bit more on it because, having been a part of another family that is, I mean, with all the potential to become, amazing, without these things, these events that occur, thanks to everyone who contributes in the CFF, um, a family is just nothing. It's just a group of clans. It's so a place that has potential for so much more, but without people putting in the effort, nothing nothing occurs. So
I think it's a testament as well. I'll just mention that it's a testament to, the people that prop up the CFF behind the scenes as well. Um, we've got podcasters, we've got people that specialize in different things. And a lot of the time, these people aren't necessarily the people that hit 3 stars every single war hit. And
Yep.
during an event, it's easy to get lost in the excitement of who's going to win, who's doing the event better, who's eventing, And I think sometimes we forget about like the effort that goes into managing the Discord server and, promoting these events across all the different avenues that CFF cumulatively have access to. And I think I'm probably jumping the gun here, but shout out to all the people back at house that put the time in to keep this family ticking along. It's all well and good for BG and Whip to sit there and come up with a cool event idea, but without Kat in the background implementing that and making the graphics and promoting the
True.
graphics on Twitter and the server,
Very true.
So I mean, the success of CFF is really something made possible by everybody that's a part of it.
For sure. All right, let's do something
Mm.
non-Clash related right now. We're going to do a top 5. And we're going to do, what are your top 5 favorite Aussie bands or songs? And we'll go around from each of us do number 5 first and 4, etc. So, BG, what's your number 5?
Aussie bands? Oh my gosh, I don't even know
Or
if I know
songs.
5. I don't even know if I know 5 of them.
We can
Shame
come
on
back
you.
to you. There's a handful of Google results that'll give you like the top 100 or top 20. And by the way, you won't believe what number 37 is.
Look, I'm not a huge as an Aussie, I'm not a huge fan of Aussie stuff. But look, skip past me and you guys go, and I'll try and think of something.
Okay, Whip, you're up.
Right. Slay me now if anyone says anything by AC/DC. I cannot stand that band.
Uh-oh. There's
Beto,
trouble ahead.
do not go there.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and say a song called Beautiful Girl by a band called In Excess, the late great Michael Hutchins. My wife actually walked down the aisle to that song to me, and it was a very special song to me. Prior to that, anyway, it would be amiss of me not to include that in my top 5. Beautiful song.
Great choice. BG, you want us to do Fado next?
Okay. Yep.
Number 5 for me is Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne. Right? He's
no. This guy.
Oh.
Wait, Ozzy Osbourne's not Aussie, right?
Aussie.
Oh,
Osbourne.
he's Aussie.
Oh,
you're hurting my brain.
Yeah, fair play.
Sorry, I'm giving my wife and family a 1-hour break from this sort of stuff. So sorry, guys. Kat.
Me, well, my number 5 is also In Excess. I didn't pick a song by them though, but I always like their music. BG, got number 5 yet?
Great choice.
You can sit out and just throw darts if you want. Just be like, here we go. Yeah,
look,
nope.
I mean,
that sucks. Next.
Okay.
Oh, geez. Look, I'm not one of those guys that really is into the whole Aussie crooner thing, like 500 Miles by the Proclaimers and things like that.
Surely that's not Australian.
Is it not?
I don't know.
We'll just do BG can do any music that he wants.
Yeah, 5 favorite songs.
Just pick a song, BG.
Don't sound American.
I guess if I was to choose an Aussie band, it'd be The Panics and Don't Fight It.
That's a great song. Okay.
Which not many would know, but I like it. I do like The Panics. So
yeah, no, they're a great band. Okay, Whip, what's your number 4?
I'll go with Jimmy Barnes and Cold Chisel and When the War Is Over.
Jimmy Barnes makes an appearance on my list too.
Oh,
he has to.
Fado, what's your number 4 then?
I'm going back a ways, but not terribly far. They were teenagers, but the song "Tomorrow" by Silverchair was like it exploded here in the mid '90s. What a great even they're not one-hit wonders at all. Maybe some Americans might think so, because that was their easily the most exposure they got was that song. That song is just killer.
Yeah.
Right. My number 4 is Boy and Bear. I love that song, Harlequin Dream.
Oh, me too. Me too. How did I
What's your
not come up with that one?
yeah? What's your number 4 then, Pete?
I guess maybe the Panics again. Get us home.
Gotta stay with the winning theme. Whip, what's your number 3?
Would you like to hear me not repeating bands?
No, just
Or
anything you want.
okay. I'll go with The Horses by Daryl Braithwaite.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a great
See,
one.
That's
BG,
a
you
good
do like
one.
Australian music. Come on.
Apparently, I do.
Theta, what's your number 3?
Number 3, I'd like to go with INXS in general. Because Michael Hutchence gets overlooked as like one of the best frontmen of a band of that era, because
Mhm.
people like default to like even like a David Lee Roth, who's just an embarrassment, right? But oh, he's such a frontman, or Vince Neil. But Michael Hutchence was brilliant, and in particular, like I liked the song they did on the Lost Boys um, soundtrack a lot. That Good Time
Mhm.
song with Jimmy Barnes, and it was an interesting clash of styles leading that song. You have
Yeah.
one with a really bluesy voice, and then obviously Michael Hutchence. Um, and it's a cover song, sure, but I mean it's just a rocker. Love that song.
All right. My number 3 is DMA's Time and Money. I love that song.
How dare you steal that?
I'm sorry.
I was saving that for number 1.
Well, you can use it. What's your number 3?
Oh gosh, I guess it's tight. I guess Silverchair. I'm a freak.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Uh-oh.
Whip.
Why are we silent on this one?
I just heard a low no from Whip.
It's a good tune.
Oh man, it was no frog
It,
stomp, man. It was no frog stomp.
no, but it was good though. I mean, I liked it. It takes me back to Nirvana days. You know.
They were like post grunge, and just,
Yes.
I like them a lot.
Yeah.
Whip. What's your number 2, Whip?
I'm gonna go with the Crowded House song, and it could be argued that they were a Kiwi band that we stole. But once upon a time, New Zealand was part of Australia, so whatever. I'll go with Fall at Your Feet.
Oh, good one. Good one. Yep.
I love that song. Love that
Yep.
song.
And amazingly remastered by Boy and Bear as well.
Correct. It's a very good cover.
Excellent.
Yep.
Theta?
All right, here's where I'm going to start making some enemies. Because my number 2 is by a band you could say is like either derivative or ripping off AC/DC. But the first song I heard by Airborne here in the States was Runnin' Wild. And I just love that song because it's a throwback to, it's like, it's not quite glam metal. It's just good, like good times hard rock. And like everything they do has this driving beat. And it's really good like exercise music. So going with Running Wild, and it was close between that and Back in the Game. So you guys are probably cringing, but that's it for me. Number 2.
All right. My number 2 is, and I couldn't really nail down one song by this band because I like most of their stuff. Bliss and ESO.
Yeah, so, yep.
Yeah, I like them.
Yep.
PG?
Yeah, they're good. They've been.
What you mean? So you're going with the entire like
the
group
entire
list?
yeah, pretty much. Well, yeah, I couldn't pick out one song by them that I liked the best. So
That's fair. That's
I
fair.
see. Yeah. Number 2. I guess number 2 would be a Triple J like a version, Matt Corby's Brother, covered by who are they? I forget who they're called, but they do a cover of it, and
The Fundamentals.
Fundamentals. That's
oh
the one.
yes.
Yeah. The only reason they got me thinking of that is because you were talking about the cover I was talking about by Boy and Bear, and I thought, you know what, they're Aussie, it's a cover, and it's good. So
It is those
All
things.
that would be
right. Number 1.
I'm gonna go with "Come Said the Boy" by Mondo Rock. Always love that song. I don't know if that ever made it out of Australia. It was a pretty big song.
Trust me, I'm taking notes. I love music, and I love the fact that there's so many things I just don't know about. I am taking diligent notes.
What's your number one then, Fado?
Yeah, Making Enemies Again. Same mold of number 2, but Long Way to the Top by AC/DC. That song, just throwing some bagpipes into the mix, and it's just like, again, another song with just an absolutely relentless driving beat. It's not speed metal or anything, but it just marches forward at the same cadence. And I don't know. I didn't like AC/DC much until I got to be much, much later in life. And then, even though a lot of it, yeah, sure, it all sounds the same, but if you like the sound, then that's a good thing, I guess. But they're just, for me, it's just steady, good rock and roll.
Nice. My number one is Hilltop Hoods Through the Dark. It's such a powerful song.
It sounds like one of their newer ones.
No, it's an old one.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your number one, BG?
Oh, it's my turn, is it? Oh,
It
okay.
is.
Well, since you stole my number one,
I'm sorry.
the DMAs, so Time and Money, I love that song to bits. I really do. I'm going to have to go with another cover through what was a really amazing thing, which was the Triple J's like a version, which I thoroughly love. I'm sure Whip does every Friday, like I do. This is one that Whip actually showed me that I missed, and it was Angus and Julia Stone with a rapper from Fundamentals called Tuka covering Big Jet Plane.
Oh, that's a good song.
It was really good.
Yep.
And yeah, if you care to check it out, do so. And yeah, it's really good. I love it.
Awesome. All right, let's jump into some shout outs. What have you got for a shout out?
I would like to shout out Magnus. Magnus is a co-leader in PR and I believe in Redthorn as well.
Yep.
Mag, over the last few seasons, has been putting together a recap of our CWL, which I've been sharing on Twitter. Really appreciate the effort that goes into that. It's really interesting for us to watch that as well, because I don't know, there's something about watching yourself in a video that makes you think that you actually know what you're doing. And it's nice to see that, and it's nice to reflect on it. So a big shout out to Mag. I know time goes into this, dude. Thank you very much for doing it. I'd also like to shout out C-Note. C's a friend, well known amidst the CFF family, and C is always saying very nice things about me, and I thought I'd return the favour. C-Note is a really, really nice guy. He's impossible to conflict with, and I just really appreciate him as a friend. So shout out to you, C-Note. You're a good buddy, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, C-Note is such a wonderful guy, and someday I hope to maybe meet this Magnus fellow you've mentioned. I'll look him up.
BG, you have any shout outs?
I mean, look, I can shout out a lot of people, Kat, but I think my number one shout out would be for you. You know, you do so much, for every clan you're a part of, for the CFF family. It's commendable. I don't think you get the appreciation that you do deserve. So I'd like to shout you out.
Well, thank you.
All the people that are our friends in PR and in the CFF and Redthorn. I mean, maybe shout out to Stormy because I miss him. But you number one. I mean, without you, I don't know how anything thrives. So big shout out to you.
Thank you. Fado, how about you?
I want to shout out our two guests today, BG and Whip. Thank you so much for taking time on a Saturday night for you guys. For us, it's been great getting to hear your perspectives and your journeys in Clash.
Thanks for having us.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I want to echo that. And my shout out is to Agent Paladin. He's always very helpful. He's a good friend of Redthorn. He always steps into war with us if we need numbers. And if anyone is struggling and needs help, he's always willing to offer some tips and advice. So shout out to him.
OP.
It's actually quite funny. I mean, like I completely forgot that we're on a podcast right now. I thought it was just a voice chat. So it's been a very, very fun Saturday evening voice chat.
Awesome. And thank you everybody for listening. The CFF is a family of clans who loves to play games such as Clash of Clans and Clash Royale, among others. You can send questions or comments to us on Twitter at RedthornCOC. And to get more information on our clans, events, and podcasts, join the CFF Discord at discord.gg/clashfiles.